Hi, my name is Adam Castle, and today I'm going to talk to you about the new multilingual features. Okay, so for this example, we have a new employee form, some equipment, departments, a manager on a picker control. Okay, and if we look at the language pack for IE, we're going to be using French. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is add this new custom control into our view. Okay, so if we look at set language, just going to drag this on. Okay, and you can see we have a few properties that we can set. So the first property is the name of the resource files. So I have a resource file called core, okay, that I now apply to all of my forms. And then I can apply an additional resource file that may be specific to this form. Okay, so if I click on save, okay, you can also see that run on page load, so which means when the page loads up, it will then translate all of those languages. Okay, so we're just going to look at the actual resource file. This is the utility that I created to maintain the resource files. Look at core. Okay, as you can see, these values here are like very common pieces of text. Display, OK, cancel, research, results, so forth. Okay, then what it's going to do is it's going to look at the browser's culture. Okay, so it may find the word search, look at the browser's culture, come across to the value here. Okay, and then of course apply that piece of text. Okay, so click on save and we then view our form. Okay, you can see that a few words have changed, but not many. Okay, if we look at our picker control, okay, we can see that some words have changed. Okay, and our drop down, nothing has changed. Okay, so what we have to do now is actually apply the second resource file. So if we look at our utility, we have another resource file called new employee. Okay, and we have values relating to our form, such as first name, last name. Okay, so I'm just going to put a comma after core and type in new employee. Click on save, and then refresh the page. You can see once again not much has changed. Okay, so the main reason behind this is because if you look at this text, okay, this text contains a colon. So first name, colon. If we look within the resource file, there is no such thing. So instead of having to make another record for first name, colon, what we can do is if we go back into the properties of the control, okay, we have something called preserved characters. We can type in a colon. Okay, and what that'll do is when that finds this piece of text, it will remove any trailing or starting colons, okay, which leaves us just with the text first name. It will then find it within our resource file, and before it sends it back into this to replace this text here, it will then re-add the colon. Okay, so we do a quick refresh. Okay, you can now see that the values have been changed. Okay, look at our date picker. If we look at our picker control, we can see that these values are all changed. Okay, so one thing you may notice is the drop down and the checklist has not changed yet. Okay, so for the reason is because this control will run on page load, okay, and these values here are loaded when the view initializes. Okay, so what we need to do is actually force this control to rerun. Okay, so if we come to the form, we're just going to edit the form. Okay, look at the form initialized rule. Okay, so we have the initialize rule for the view, and then we're going to go to the transfer data action, and we're just going to transfer data into that control, which just forces it to rerun for the page. Click on save, employee, another refresh, and you can now see that the values are now in French. Okay, so I've got a page already created. Okay, and this will actually start a workflow so I can show you some other features. So we're just going to populate this form. The manager can be Dennis, and submit. Okay. So that will start off in your workflow. So if I go to my workspace, we can see a new item. Okay, and of course we have the item here. We can see that is the main view. We can also see that we have a list of recent new employees, and we have replaced the column header text. We have replaced any toolbar buttons and any title text. Okay, you can see some custom controls here as well, and we've replaced these. Okay, and also we've now replaced the text for the actions. Okay, so to show you how easy it is to change the values for the resource files, I'm just going to switch to Chinese. Quick refresh. Okay, and you can see now the values are in Chinese. Okay, so you can also see that recent employees, this title is not in Chinese. So we have our resource file open up here. Okay, we can actually see that is a text for the Chinese value. Okay, for this example, we're just going to use Google Translate. Okay, we'll just copy these characters back into our resource file. Save. Back to the form. A quick refresh. Okay, and you can now see the values changed. And we can just action our process with that action. Okay, and if we look at the actual work list, we'll now see the item has now moved on. So even though the actions have changed to Chinese or to French, behind the actual scenes they're still in English, and when you submit it, it will then of course submit that English value and cause your workflow to proceed to the next stage. Okay, thank you.